Palomalu, and so this team is not like Kevin. It's no sugarcoating it. They're really suspect defensively. Last year, they ranked 18. I never heard of a Steelers defense ranked 18 that low overall.
Mm-hmm.
And their offense was ranked freaking 7th, man. 2nd in total yards. It's unheard of. This is a team that wants to ground and pound you on the ground, which they still have a great running back in Le'Veon Bell. But
Le'Veon Bell, one of the best. Like I said, their offense, you can't question their offense. Their defense, on the other hand, you can question.
So, yes, the Pouncey injury definitely hurts them.
He was hurt last year. He was hurt the year before. He's been hurt this whole time in there, so you kind of get used to it. That's why they have a good backup.
They do. So, but Steelers to me, like Kevin said, they're gonna have a wonderful offense again, but defense is just gonna be very suspect. So, Andy Dalton,
Andy Dalton needs to fire up about as red as his hair is. You have yet to show anyone anything. He hasn't shown nothing. He hasn't shown that he should have made that amount of money that he made last year. Or that he's making now. 19 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. That's not somebody you pay the amount of money that you just paid him. He's not worth it.
He arguably had one of the best receivers in the game. And I know he was hurt last year. AJ Green.
And you've got one of the best. You had a running back who didn't come up, and then you had Jeremy Hill, who all of a sudden came out of nowhere.
Two
Once he popped out of nowhere, then there you go. Once he popped up out of nowhere, you at least had that weapon, which I know because my last week of the fantasy season, I thought I was going to lose because somebody couldn't stop him from running the football. We'll not name no defensive names, but it was Denver. They couldn't stop him from running.
Yeah, Jeremy Hill came onto the scene and 1,124 yards last year, 9 touchdowns, and you only expect him to get better. 22 years old, and you got Bernard, who's 23 years old, and Bernard is a dual threat. He was able to go ahead and run the ball for you on the outs, and he able to also to catch the ball for you as well. So it's a nice luxury to have, and it's up to Dalton to use these options better than 19 and 17. You get paid this money, and you still won a lot of games because of your core, but it's time for you to get him over that step. Like Kevin said, the quarterback position, you get paid this money, so you got this microscope on you.
Prove it.
To do better.
Prove it. So, and you have yet to prove it.
No, it's crazy, and
but I'm telling the quarterback.
I believe that
it's one of the weirdest paid positions I've ever seen in pro sport. It just is. You could be the most mediocre turd in the bowl, but yet you're still going to get paid because you have a QB next year. It's just like I said last time.
Yeah. And so, like I said, this team can take the next step. Definitely Andy Dalton go ahead and do better in 19 and 17, which be better, man, because you getting paid a lot of money. All right. The last hurrah for Steve Smith Sr. Final season.
Bye.
Not a big fan of him.
Bye. He's a turd. Great football player. Turd of a human being.
His attitude is not...
He's a turd. He is a turd. He just don't do stupid shit like other people do, but he is a turd to people. He just don't go in... He just don't... He don't do stupid crap like Warren Sapp and other people do. He's just a turd of a human being. He's an angry little man who has Napoleon Bonaparte syndrome. Because he's littler than everybody else. He thinks he's got to act like he's 20 feet tall. He's got that type of syndrome. So he gets on my nerves.
Good riddance for him, huh?
He gets on my nerves. Great football player, just a turd.
What do you look at them going for? You think they can still get a double-digit win?
Of course they can. They're freaking Baltimore. They've been one of the consistent franchises since they have came into the league. Joe Flacco is one of those guys who does not get the love that he should get. He is the most, once the postseason comes into effect, he is one of the most clutch quarterbacks in the postseason. You can have all these other guys that you talk about. He is one of the most clutch guys in the postseason. I would take Joe Flacco over a lot of people right now when it comes to postseason play.
Yeah, he is. Man, he really challenged the Patriots.
Yeah, they do it every year. They're dangerous. And I told you last year, I picked them to go to the AFC Championship game. They just went one game earlier than I thought they would go because I had them beating Denver to go on. But I was like, they went one game earlier. But dang, they give everyone fits, and that's just the way they are. They're a good, solid football team. Their defense goes down a little bit, but their offense comes up a little bit. And I know they lost. They know they've lost some people in their offense that they had last year, and everything, but they're still going to be that consistent team.
Yeah, Joe Flacco seemed to have a knack to turn it on in postseason play and everything like that. He just one of those players that grind out through the regular season, do what he needs to do to get the wins, and make sure they lock up the position in the playoffs. So, yeah, like you said, Joe Flacco is one of those where I did criticize him early on in his career. But as far as, when he had to start doing this on his own, they paid him the contract. I mean, heck, man, he's definitely earned his right to say, I'm actually
He's won a Super Bowl. You pay a guy that's won a Super Bowl. All these other guys that are getting paid gajillion dollars, they ain't won no Super Bowl. They ain't won no playoff games.
Yeah.
That's where I'm saying where you need to pay somebody.
So
now I'm tired talking about paying quarterbacks.
Let's talk about the atrocity of the Cleveland Browns.
Next.
Who's your quarterback?
I don't care.
You know your team just beat this team last year, right?
I know that. Shows you how bad they are.
Well, you let go of Brian. I'll talk briefly about him, then we'll keep this moving.
Bye.
You went ahead and let Hoyer go.
Ooh.
And so I mean,
don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself, but you might have to go with the young buck, man, and just kind of just deal with it until see if he's pans out or something. That's all I got to say. You got an option, Dwayne Bowe, who's a little bit older. This team still got a good defense led by yours truly, Joe Hayden. So that's really the only positive about since me and Kevin both Gator guys. But I'm sorry, Joe, that you have to play for this team. But you still got to do what you got to do because you get paid, and you're still one of the best in the game right now. It doesn't really talk about that much because he plays for the Browns. But this is, with this team, man, they was at one point leading the division last year, and it doesn't last long. But we'll see what stuff they take and see if they can even match this. But I don't think they'll be 7-9. It was one of those where they overachieve a little bit, and that's hard to say with a team that still is on 500. But yeah, they overachieve a little bit, and McCown, he did terrible in Tampa Bay. I don't know how he's still on an NFL team, but
because he went to the Browns.
And actually had a shot to win a starting job against Johnny Manziel. So
you went to the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, this division, who I got winning it, I got Baltimore winning this division. I think they'll pull out.
Great, you just jinxed them. Damn it.
It'll still be a tie race between them and the Steelers. It'll be on and off, and you'll get two representatives out of this in the AFC playoffs in this team here. So one of these teams will be a wild card spot for me. So Baltimore will win the division, and Pittsburgh get a wild card spot. Don't know. I had a lot of faith in Cincinnati last year.
None.
But Andy Dalton's got to prove to me, which I thought he would have, and he didn't. So you still got talent, but I still think they'll win 9 games. But I don't know. I'm just gonna go for it. The matchup I'm eager to watch is always the Steelers and the Ravens. That matchup is just none but not because the Steelers defense is so bad now. Look forward, and it was great, but you still got a lot of offensive talent between Joe Flacco and Ben Roethlisberger, so two of the quarterbacks that know how to play the game pretty well. So there's always a historic rivalry that it's always very, very fun to watch on Sunday. So regardless if you root for the team or not. So what matchup are you eager to watch, or you That's probably the same one. And who's your division winner?
Cleveland again. No, I'm just kidding. I got Baltimore winning the division. Again, always the fun game to watch is Steelers and Baltimore, but that's when they were smashing each other's heads in, and now it's turned into aerial assaults. So yeah, it'll be a fun game this year just because you'll get a different version of that game.
Oh yeah.
Now.
All right. Well, let's take a break. We'll be back. Discuss the AFC South and AFC West, and we'll go from there. And we'll talk about me and Kevin personal teams on this. And
go Joy.
And we'll be back. This is
oh Joy! Don't get me started on my team today.
We'll be back. Welcome back to the Balls Not Court podcast. Cortez, Paul, and Kevin Carter returning to discuss the other side of the AFC conference. And we are going to start off with the AFC South. So let's go ahead and discuss these.
The South.
The South.
One of them ain't even in the South.
The South. So you
one
got
of them's not in the South.
One of them is in the Midwest.
Exactly.
So you got the Indianapolis Colts at 11-5. You got the Houston Texans at 9-7. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-13, and the Tennessee Titans that were 2-14. Headlines coming out of the division is you got Andrew Luck was callous behind no one passing offense last season. Do you expect out of Luck and what needs improvement? J.J. Watt, who was the defensive MVP of last year, and some of his stats that I have here, we'll go over there and those shortly.
Suck it.
Looking to duplicate his success this season was the biggest mystery about this team. Blake Bortles get a new toy in Julius Thomas, and they got
who can't even get his hand right.
And so I would ask my partner here, who is Jaguars expert, as along with other NFL experts, the teams that he covers, is